you want to just pop out to as many different events as you can, like sports-related events where you know people of status in your field are going to be. Because a lot of times now it's more about who you know as opposed to what you know. Not to say that that's not important, but when you know the right people, then a lot of different opportunities, kind of arise.
Welcome to the Iron Mind Podcast. I'm Josh Brumley, lawyer, author, professor, and now podcast host. Join me as I dive into conversations with entrepreneurs, artists, business owners, and other leaders shaping the world. This is the Iron Mind Podcast.
Steezy, welcome to the show, man. Thank you very much for being here.
My pleasure, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So for people who don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
So Calvin Domingo is the name. Steezy Smith is the game. I work in sports media. So primarily I cover the Seattle Seahawks. I also cover other Seattle sports, not to the same degree as the Seahawks, but the Mariners, the Seawolves. We do have a rugby team here. And when they come back, the Supersonics, a little bit of the Sounders, a little bit of everything, but primarily the Seahawks.
Why are the Seahawks the best team in the NFL?
That's a great question. Well, one, you take a look at the draft that just kind of took place, and it's hard to say this without thinking that, I'm biased, but the Seahawks honestly had the best draft
Yeah?
in the NFL out of every team.
Break it down for us. For people who didn't pay attention to the draft, people like me who are like Instagram following the Seahawks, and I'm like, all right, cool, we got some new picks. They seem like great guys, but tell us about it.
So for one, Seattle's biggest need was offensive line. And you went out and got arguably the best interior offensive lineman in the draft in the first round at 18th overall. North Dakota State's Gray Zabel. And then in round 2, they drafted Nick Emanwari. He's been compared to, and this name might sound familiar, Cam Chancellor. He's a safety. He's versatile. He fits a variety of roles on defense. He's perfect for that defense. And so not only are you bringing guys that fit team needs, but you're also bringing guys that are great football players. And so the list goes on. Round 3, Jalen Milroe. He played for Alabama. A lot of people are saying that if he reaches his full potential, he's the next Lamar Jackson. And I know you're not a big football guy, but you know who Lamar Jackson is, right?
Everybody should.
Everybody does, right? He's a 2-time, 3-time NFL MVP. And so if Jalen Milroe reaches his ceiling with the Seahawks, I mean, that's what we might have happening here in the next couple of years. I could go on, but Seattle had a whole bunch of needs. Seattle made a whole bunch of moves in free agency. Cooper Kupp, hometown guy, you bring him on board. A lot of fans were disappointed because Seattle traded away a Geno Smith. Seattle traded away a DK Metcalf, but I think Seattle has rebounded very nicely.
Yeah. What do you think we should expect from the Seahawks this year? Are we going to the Super Bowl?
I wouldn't say that this year.
Oh, come on. Where's the hope? Where's the hope?
Not yet, but what I will say is that I think Seattle might be a year away.
Yeah.
Seattle really might be a year away. I think when you look at some of the pieces in place, you kind of give them another year to, learn from Mike McDonald. It's still kind of a
Become
new
a
culture.
closer team.
Right.
Yeah.
And kind of continue to build that team camaraderie.
Right.
But I think Seattle's definitely well on its way, and I think they could be a piece or two away from being serious Super Bowl contenders at this time next year.
So, I'm happy to talk about the Seahawks and everything you know about the Seahawks, but I also want to get to know you a little bit more and like how you got into this role. For anyone that's interested in like working in the sports journalism industry, like what got you to where you're at right now?
So when I was in college, I was actually attending 2 colleges at the time. It was Highline and Green River. I was a sports editor.
Shout
for
out Highline. I'm a
alumni
teacher
as well.
I'm a professor at Highline. Yeah.
Hey, shout out Highline,
Highline
man.
makes the best students, man.
Right. A lot of notable alumni, from there as well. And so, shout out the Thunderbirds. But when I was in college, I was attending, both schools at the same time. At Green River, I was taking a bunch of radio classes. And then over at Highline, I was taking a bunch of journalism classes. I was a sports editor for the newspaper. And I felt like I was on a roll. I was getting experience in multiple forms of sports media. And then once COVID kind of hit, everything kind of came to a halt. And so one of my boys, he's a news reporter over in Spokane. At the time, he was begging me to make a YouTube channel. And he had made a channel. He was posting content every day. He was, kind of on the same path as I was. Initially, I was reluctant. I was just like, man, I could make a YouTube, but like, well, I'm going to just be posting videos of myself. Like, I didn't see myself doing that at the time. But after weeks of pestering, eventually we went, on lockdown. I was just like, damn, well, I'm not posting or writing articles. I'm not on the radio talking sports. And so what can I do to kind of fulfill, that void? And so eventually I listened. I made a YouTube channel. And then my first video, I think I hit 1,000 views in like 2 days. And so
what was the video about?
It was about Tua Tagovailoa being drafted to the Miami Dolphins. So this was the 2020 NFL draft. So it's been 5 years. And then it wasn't even a Seahawks video. And that video kind of took off. And I think within a week, I hit like 100 subscribers. And everything was all natural. Everything was organic. I wasn't, paying for promo or anything like that. And so seeing all that success early, I was like, you know what, maybe this is something I can get used to, And I started pumping out 2-3 videos a week. And within 10 months, I was able to monetize my channel.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Right.
What do you think right now is your like best video or most watched video? What's something that if people haven't watched anything, you say start with this one?
Ooh, that's a great question. No one's ever asked me that. There's a bunch. There's a lot of interviews.
Obviously, every video they should watch, right? Like, comment, subscribe, all that. But if they got to start somewhere, do they start at the most recent video? They start at your first video? They start at your favorite video? What do you think?
I would actually go with a live stream that I had hosted. So about, I think a year after I made my YouTube, I had a guest stream where I wanted to stream everyone's reactions after the draft. And some of the guests that I had were some of my favorite media guys. And so shout out Mike Duger. He covers the Seahawks for The Athletic. And I think they were bought out by the New York Times. So the New York Times. I had him on the show, and he's somebody that I've always looked up to, in this industry. Michael Bumpus, he's a former wide receiver for the Seahawks. He works for the Seahawks, and I think he also does Cougar Radio. He does a whole lot in sports media. I had him on the show. He was a guy that I looked up to. My boy who's a news reporter over in Spokane, Noah Bolter. Shout out Noah Bolter, man, my brother. I had him on the show. Seahawks reporter for Sports Illustrated, Corbin Smith. I had him on the show. So it was just an all-star panel, an all-star cast. I think the stream lasted like three and a half hours.
Wow.
It's not my most viewed video, but I think it's one of my most viewed streams. But the reason why I'm bringing that one up is just because it was a great cast. It was a great stream. It's one of my favorites, honestly.
If someone is like really competitive with fantasy football, what do they need to know to make sure that they beat everyone in their office's ass at fantasy football?
Ooh, I think for one, you could come to me for advice.
Well, I mean, this is us. I'm literally coming to you right now.
Right.
Please tell me how to beat everyone in my office's ass at fantasy sports.
So this is gonna sound a little crazy, but you have to be on it every single day. Like when I wake up, I hate that this is the first thing that I do, but it's a part of the job. Like I have to go on my phone.
Yeah.
But when it's fantasy football season, I'm always looking at players that I could add, right? Because that's how you gain a competitive advantage by finding guys on the waiver wire before everyone else does.
Right.
And so sometimes it entails waking up earlier.
Do you set an alarm during fantasy football season?
I do.
Just to check?
I definitely do. I mean, I don't know if Isaac's ever told you. Right. I don't know if Isaac's ever told you, but 2 years ago, I was in 45 leagues.
45 fantasy football leagues?
And I think 35 of them were
legitimately like 2 full-time jobs. That's crazy.
Right.
What the fuck?
I mean, I was even looking at myself like, am I really doing this right now? I couldn't believe it.
Were they paid to get into these leagues, or were they all just
30
friends?
of them were, yeah.
You had to pay for 30 leagues.
But see, here's the thing though.
What?
If you manage to win a couple, because some of these payouts, we're talking like $1,000+
Mm-hmm.
So if you manage to win a couple, and then let's say you place second and you take home a couple $100 in this league, you place third, you get your money back. It kind of cancels out.
Yeah.
And so out of 45, I think I won only like 3 or 4 championships. But that paid
only
right?
3 or 4. Only 3 or 4. All right.
But that paid for a majority of my, leagues.
Yeah.
And
it made watching all of those games way more fun, right?
Yeah, because I'm literally watching every player. Because if you're in 45 leagues, I mean, you have a bunch of players.
Yeah.
So that was the time.
How many football games have you watched at one time on like different screens?
I think 7 or 8.
7 or 8 football games at the same time.
I'll have NFL Red Zone, right? It plays a bunch of games. I'll have that on one screen, and then I have one game on my iPad, one game on this phone, a game on this laptop, and then one game on my other phone. And then so
But then how are you looking at your score on your phone if it's also streaming? You got to like kind of bounce between. You're
That's
like
what I'm
logged
doing.
in. You're like you're in the network. You're in the matrix. You're doing it all
Something
at
like
once.
that. Yeah, I mean,
You're
I don't
like,
know how I do it sometimes. I'm just
Trade him.
making it
Oh no,
happen.
he just got injured. Drop his ass.
Yeah, I mean,
You're watching
honestly,
it live.
Yeah,
Broken
real time.
ankle. Nope, he's out.
Real time.
Drop his ass. He's on 5 teams with me, but I gotta let him go. He's cut. Wow, man. Okay, so circling back to how do I beat Isaac in fantasy football this year? Just pay attention to it. Just always be. So it's like it's a hobby, right? But you need to be a little bit addicted to it
Honestly,
to win.
yes.
There's no luck to it.
There's a little bit of luck. I mean, I found myself losing to teams in the championship, in years past where I'm like comparing my team and I'm comparing theirs. And I'm like, hands down, my team is a lot better.
Statistically, yeah. Like if these guys
statistically-
played football against each other, it would be a domination.
Right. And so
just the
sometimes,
numbers.
Right. And sometimes like you'll have one player give you like 50 plus points. Right. And even if your guys do their job, if you're going up against a team where you're getting 50 points from one player, I mean, it's kind of hard to overcome that.
But yeah.
So, yeah, luck is involved, I'd say,
Okay.
sometimes.
All right. So like if Isaac goes out and gets really drunk the night before our draft, I'll probably win.
I would say so because
Okay, all right.
I've had a few moments myself
All right, cool.
where, maybe the night before I had a little too much to drink. And so the next morning, I would wake up like a
You're
couple minutes after
groggy, you're traded away. People you should have just like, oh no.
Oh, you're not setting your lineups.
Yeah.
And so I've lost playoff games
You had
because
all
I didn't
these
set a
injured
lineup.
players on your team. You're like, damn it, this is a bye week for him, and I left him as my starting person.
Right. It's happened before.
It's happened to me, man. Happens to the best of us.
It does.
All right. Well, so that's fantasy football. Now I'm ready to beat Isaac's ass, and the rest of the office needs to be in fear because I'm coming for you guys.
I can help with that.
Thank you. Yes, I'll just hand you my phone every week. So what about getting into doing sports or this type of work as like a career? Like what can people be doing like besides just starting a YouTube channel? What if they're nervous of being on camera? Like what could they be doing?
Man, that's a great question. I think for me, what also kind of helped kickstart or jumpstart all this was when I was in college, I had a friend of mine introduced me to a sports business school called Sports Management Worldwide. And shout out Sports Management Worldwide. I had attended their most recent football conference over in Indiana. And so I also attended the NFL Combine a couple of months ago. But rewinding back to 2019, I had attended one of their sports conferences. And I met so many people there, like people that were trying to do what I was trying to do. And I had
You
just
built your
networked.
network. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so essentially to answer the question, you want to just pop out to as many different events as you can, like sports related events where people of status in your field are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times now it's more about who you know as opposed to what you know. Not to say that that's not important, but when you know the right people, then a lot of different opportunities, kind of arise.
Yeah.
I've had so many different opportunities over the years. I've had the top news outlets in Seattle, bringing me in for tours. They've been interested in wanting to bring me on board. And so I'm able to attest.
I love it, man. So that's Seahawks related people that you met or like all different sports?
Honestly, a whole bunch of different sports.
Yeah.
A bunch of different sports.
That's great. Did you ever meet the Kraken mascot?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
He seems really cool. If you meet him, like, what's that guy's name again?
I think it's like Bowie.
Yeah, Bowie.
Yeah, it's Bowie.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
seems pretty cool.
I mean,
Like a down to earth, chill dude.
right. And it's funny because a lot of people, when he first became a thing, a lot of people were making fun of Bowie. A lot of people
Yeah.
were saying that he was
There's a lot of
ugly.
haters when people are successful, but Bowie's he's here. He's with the shit. He's our guy,
He is.
You
I
gotta
got
rep
love for
Bowie. You gotta rep Bowie. What do you think are good daily habits or mindset shifts that have helped you to be successful? I think a lot of people, they say, like, when you wake up, spend time, don't get on your phone immediately. And you're like, man, I hate this. But for me to be successful, I got to wake up, set an alarm, and be on my phone immediately. Are there other things that you do to help with like mindfulness or like centering yourself or keeping a separation of like work-life balance? Anything like that you want to give as advice?
Yeah, I think, being organized and having a planner might seem kind of corny, but
I love having a planner.
Same here.
Dude, it's so helpful.
Same here. And whether it's digital, whether it's physical, right? I think I use both every single day. I spend a lot of my time, on my planner. And so I think by being able to organize your thoughts in that regard, that helps things tremendously. Like it might seem like it's not that big of a thing to do, or you kind of wonder, like, how is that crucial to one's success? I mean, for me, there's so much that you're juggling, right? And so, and being able to organize all that, I think, again, it does a tremendous job of being able to help.
Yeah, keeping organized, really important. I say that a lot to the staff I have at my law firm here is like, it's very easy for a lawyer's desk or a paralegal's desk to look crazy, right? Paper, loose paper, sticky notes, 7 pens, all uncapped, just drying out on your desk. When I walk past someone's office and it looks like that, I say, is this the type of desk that if you were a client, you'd want your lawyer to have? Because that desk makes me look like you're overworked and not organized. And if you're overworked and not organized, you're going to miss something. And if I was your client, I'd be pissed that your desk looked like that. And they hear me loud and clear, man. And it's very hard to do some days, right? Like you have shit like exploding on your cases or whatever. But to finish the day or finish the week, and before you go home, like make sure everything's in its place. You put your fucking cap on your pen. You put your pen away. You get the sticky notes that you're like, God, I got to remember to do this. You put it in the planner. You put it on the calendar digitally. And then you don't need the sticky note anymore. You have a clean, nice desk to walk back into. But I think that the way someone's workspace looks is a reflection of their mind. And if their mind is scattered, their desk is scattered, it's not someone I think deserves a spot on my team.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well said. I mean, I'm a big believer in that as well, right? Like your environment is very, critical, and your work environment is what I'm getting at. It's very, I think, conducive to one's success.
Yeah.
And yeah, you made a lot of great points. For me, I just moved out of this place, but the place that I was living at with my brother, I had an office there, but right in front of my office was like the laundry machine. And so sometimes, like, if I have a show that day where I'm doing a stream and there's a whole bunch of clothes just kind of cluttered all over the place, I'm just like, man, I can't have the show or the stream if all that's there. And so it's like, I got to do laundry on a day where I wasn't initially planning on doing laundry, but because of like, I'm wanting to have, a clean environment around me. I don't want a whole bunch of cluttered clothes, right beneath my office, right beneath the table.
For sure. For sure. Got to keep a clean workspace, man.
Yeah.
Well, the name of the podcast is Iron Mind, as I'm sure you know. It's based on an old punk band, a song called Iron Mind. And I ask a lot of my guests, what does having an iron mind mean to you?
Ooh, I love that question. Having an iron mind, I think being able to withstand adversity, because every single day we're going to get knocked down. And especially when it comes to, I think, being a man, right? I think part of being a man is how do you respond when you're knocked down in life? Because we're all going to get knocked down. And so by having, an iron mind, you're able to fight through adversity. Because again, everyone's going to deal with it. We face it on a day-to-day basis, and how we respond is, again, very important.
Yeah, getting through that like self-doubt and that imposter syndrome. Like, damn, how did I con my way into being into this big room of people that are all more successful than me? But you didn't con that. You deserve to be there. Know that you deserve to be there. Yeah. Be confident in everything that you do, and deserve what you get in those rooms. Like get into those rooms, be yourself, be a person that deserves to be there.
Amen.
Hell yeah. Would you rather have unlimited time or unlimited money?
That's easy. Unlimited time. I mean, time is money, right? If you apply it correctly, that is. Just like when they say knowledge is power, yes, but knowledge is only power when it's applied correctly. And so, we all know this. We all say this: time is the most valuable currency. And so you can have all the money in the world. There's a lot of people with a lot of money, but what are they doing with their time? Or you don't know what they did to get some of that money. And so I think a lot of people, or not a lot of people would say this, but I'd go with time.
Absolutely. I agree. What's a crazy fact or statistic that you want to share with everyone that just blows your mind?
Just about like life in general?
Anything that comes to mind. Sports, life, anything.
I like that question. I would say maybe this is more of a reminder, but everyone is made up of at least 75% of water. Because I just feel like I'm a big believer in drinking water, and I just feel like so many people don't drink water, or people don't like drinking water. But if they're reminded that 75% of our bodies is made up of water, then I feel like people would drink water more. And so,
All right. Yeah, that's true, man. Having an office that runs on coffee and having my body weight in coffee in a day, and then realizing at the end of the day when I'm like so dehydrated and like tired, I'm like, I didn't drink a single drop of water. Ooh. How is my body running right now? It's crazy. So very good reminder, man. Did not expect that, but that's a health conscious reminder. Damn, I need to carry a water bottle.
Please do.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do.
Good for my skin, good for my body, like digestion.
It's almost literally like it's gas. Like you're putting gas in a tank.
Yeah, you gotta gas up.
Yeah.
Did you know that a male turkey is called a tom?
I didn't know that, but you learn something new every day, right?
That's the fact that blows my mind. It's called a tom.
A tom, like T-O-M.
T-O-M. That's it. Just learned that last night. What is something that most people misunderstand about what you do?
Wow. Hey, these questions, I like your questions,
dude.
Josh.
I love shout out to the team, man. I'm just the host. I just show up, put the Brumley Law Firm shirt on, and then we just start talking. But I've got the questions here. The whole team. Having a good team is very important.
Oh, 1,000%.
It's like my NFL draft in real life, dude.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, you aced it.
Thank you.
You aced it because you have a wonderful.
I'll take my team against anybody's team, fantasy or not.
That's how. Hey, you should always be thinking like that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But to answer your question, Josh, I think some people kind of look at what I do and they think that there's not a lot of work that goes into that, because it's like, oh, all you gotta do is hop in front of the camera and do what you've been doing all your life, which is talk sports or give your take on this or break this down or analyze this. But I think at the same time, I mean, when I'm watching games, I'm not just watching games. Like I feel like I'm really breaking things down in real time, or I'm watching the games differently than how other fans or people watch the games. And then when it comes to preparing for shows, like I'm having to put together notes. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just coming on to someone's show or a stream or a podcast and just everything's off the dome. So there's research that goes into it. Once games are over, having to rewatch the games, right, via film. And replaying things over and over and over again. It's fun work, don't get me wrong, but again, just kind of going back to the question, people think it's all fun and games, but there's definitely some work involved.
It's funny that you brought that up. I think a lot of law firms don't do this, but when my staff have a motion hearing or a big deposition or some legal thing that's coming up, we as a collective group, someone wears the robe, so we go down, we do like a mock trial version of it, and we record it, and we watch that tape, man, and we analyze that tape, and we say, how can we do better when game day comes? How can we do better tomorrow for the next mock trial? And my team collectively, the first time you do it, you're like, damn, that was rough, right?
Right.
But wouldn't you rather have a law firm that's doing the rough one at home in practice and then getting through it, getting the nerves out of being in front of that judge in this very high stakes situation, and then watching that tape and learning? That's so important, man. And that's something that like sports really emphasizes, but a lot of industries don't.
Right. And I think even for myself, right, sometimes I go, but not even sometimes, all the time. Like after I get finished with a show or a guest appearance or a live stream, I'm watching myself and I'm going back. I'm like, okay, what could I have done better? Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Or, man, I said a little too much, too many filler words. And so, yeah, being able to kind of reflect and make those mistakes early, right? Mm-hmm. Like they say, how you practice is how you play. And so repetition is a huge role, or repetition is, plays a huge role in that. And so, yeah, being able to make the mistakes early and doing it at home, where you're comfortable, you make it then. And so you don't make them later.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Very important in every field. Anything that you do, if you can practice it, you're going to be more successful at it. And so just be obsessed with what you do and try to perfect it. Try to be the best version of yourself every day.
There you go.
Do you think AI is changing your field?
Oh, definitely.
How?
Definitely. I think that, at the end of the day, this is journalism, right? And so with AI kind of coming in and not necessarily taking over, but making its mark, I think you're kind of taking away from different journalists, or you're taking away from authentic journalism, because now you have different media outlets that are just relying on AI to curate stories, or to put this together, to put that together. And so I think with AI coming in, you're taking a little bit away from like journalism at its most authentic form.
Mm-hmm. So you think people should maybe media, like the big media outlets, should shy away from using AI and focus more on real people writing real stories?
Not necessarily. Like, I know what I said might insinuate that, because I'll say this. I do think that AI, there is a role for AI, but I do think that some people in media, maybe they shouldn't be as reliant, on AI. I think, finding the right balance. I know that sounds cliche, but being able to find the right balance.
No, that's not cliche at all. Find your like authentic voice,
right?
And then maybe use AI to supplement what you're writing, or supplement ideas.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And so having it complement your work as opposed to it, dominating or being your work. I think if you can kind of work hand in hand with AI, then it's like, maybe there isn't a problem. But if you're completely relying on it, then it's like, I guess at the end of the day, it's a numbers game, right? So if you're putting up numbers, people aren't really going to care sometimes whether or not it's authentic or whether it's real journalism. They just they want to be fed this content. And so
do you think media outlets should require AI generated content to be labeled?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Because it's like someone can kind of come off a lot smarter than they actually are. And then now they're taking all this credit, and people are thinking that he or she is this or that.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's not put on the front for the camera, right? Let's not put on the front for the world. Like, let's just tell it what it is. Let's
a robot wrote this article.
Yeah. That's all. Yeah.
If you had to predict the future in your industry, what do 5 years from now look like?
Just like for
sports media.
I think, well, there aren't going to be any more newspapers, I feel like, in 5 years. So there's that.
Not even digitally, or just physical newspapers?
Physical, yeah. That'll be done in the next 5 years. I think you're going to see a lot more. So some of these bigger media personalities, you're going to see a lot of them kind of branching away from their companies and starting their own, different companies. I think, we were just talking about AI. Obviously, AI is going to have a lot more influence. And social media. I think we see it right now, right? But I think some of the biggest news outlets right now are having some of the most success they've ever had on social media.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answers the question the way that you want it to be answered, but
of course, social media is changing how people understand news, right? And sports. Like, I was boarding a plane at SeaTac when the news broke for Alaska Airlines flight in Portland to LA, where that door fell off.
Oh,
I think I saw it on Dubsy News. Do you follow Dubsy?
I do.
Very good news station. Instagram, Dubsy News. But I was like boarding a plane to LA from SeaTac when a Portland Alaska Airlines flight had a door fall off. And I was like, oh, fuck. I'm about to die on this plane, man. Oh. And I'm not like getting news updates from Apple News, right? Like, I'm just scrolling Instagram, but then breaking news is happening. I'm reading it live on Dubsy, and I'm thinking, thank God I knew about this, but I almost wish I didn't, because now I'm fucking anxious getting on this flight. But I think that social media has changed how people view news, and people expect to get news from social media. And so there's lots of different individual personalities or individual pages that you get free news live when it's happening. Brumley Law Firm tries to post a lot of, traffic related, car accident related, and sometimes other, legal related news, so that people can just stay up to date with shit that's happening in Washington. But I think that that's how people are consuming content, and you have to go where the people are. So physical newspapers, like, I agree, that's just not where our generation is really getting content from. we're basically out of time, but before we go, do you want to give us any final shout outs or words of wisdom? Just look at the camera and tell the people how you feel.
Man, well, I just want to shout out Brumley Law Firm and shout out the Iron Mind podcast. If you guys aren't already following, aren't already tuned in, tapped in, or whatever, I don't know what you're doing, but be sure to give them a follow. Show them some love on social media. I mean, and once you go ahead and do that, if you're a Seahawks fan, then you go ahead and tap in with my work at Steezy A. Smith, YouTube, Instagram. You can find me pretty much everywhere. Hell
yeah. We're going to put it on the podcast so everyone follows you.
Come on. That's love. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Come on.